Tonight on Video Rental Chaos, we're talking Hellraiser. You know, the movie where your uncle skips Thanksgiving and then shows up at Christmas with no skin? Now throw in some leather-clad demons with a hook fetish, and you've got yourself a Clive Barker masterpiece. Before we dive into Hellraiser, here's a little history lesson for you. This bloody gem dropped in the year 1987. It was written and directed by Clive Barker, and based on his novel, The Hellbound Heart. And let me tell you, this wasn't your average 1980s slasher. Nope, Barker brought its leather-clad, chain-slinging demons called Cenobites, and gave horror fans nightmares about attic renovations for fucking decades. It's a twisted love story, a family drama, and a supernatural gore fest, all in one. And while Freddy was haunting dreams and Jason was haunting campsites, Clive Barker's crew was busy redefining pain and pleasure, sometimes in the same scene. Go ahead and press play on Hellraiser, and if you hear chains rattling behind you, well shit, run! Hellraiser kicks off in Morocco, where this dude Frank Cotton, who's basically the king of sleaze, buys this weird puzzle box that's supposed to open the door to some next level pleasures. Not like, hey, I got a hot tub type pleasure. We're talking freaky, other dimensional stuff, okay? He takes it home, hides it out in the attic, solves the puzzle, and instead of champagne and candles, hook chains shoot out and rip him apart. Not exactly the happy ending he was hoping for. Some mysterious black-robed figure resets the box, cleans up the mess, and it's like nothing ever happened. Cut to a little later, Frank's brother Larry moves into the same house with his wife Julia. Larry's trying to patch up the marriage, but what he doesn't know is Julia used to hook up with Frank back in the day. And yeah, she's still thinking about it. One day, Larry cuts his hand while moving a mattress, drips some blood on the attic floor, and wouldn't you know it, that's enough to bring Frank back. Sort of. He's now a gooey, skinless freak, but Julia finds him and she's way too happy about it. She agrees to help him get his body back so they can run away together. And how does she do that? By picking up random dudes from bars, luring them back to the attic, and letting Frank literally suck the life out of them. That's fucking romance, ladies and gentlemen. Frank explains that he got the puzzle box because he ran out of thrills. He wanted something more. And boy, did he get it. But instead of sexy fun times, he got the Cenobites. These leather-clad, flesh-torturing explorers from another dimension who blur the line between pain and pleasure. Larry's daughter Christy sees Julia sneaking men into the house and follows her to the attic, where she meets good old Uncle Frank. He immediately tries to kill her, wakes up in a hospital, solves it, and accidentally summons the Cenobites, plus a gross monster called the Engineer. The Cenobites basically tell him, hey, you solved the box, so now you're coming with us. But Christy strikes a deal. She'll lead them to Frank, who escaped them if they let her go. Back home, things get even worse. Frank kills Larry and wears his skin, because apparently this guy's evil buffet just never ends. Julia tries to trap Christy in the attic, but Frank ends up stabbing Julia instead. Zero remorse. The Cenobites show up. Frank admits to killing Larry, and that's all they need to hear. Hooks, chains, chaos. Frank is torn apart in glorious fashion. The Cenobites then double-cross Christy, but she uses the puzzle box to send them back to where they came from. She escapes with her boyfriend Steve just as the house collapses. Oh, but the box isn't done yet. A creepy homeless guy who's been hanging around from earlier in the film grabs it from a fire, turns into a winged skeleton monster, and flies off with it. And guess who ends up with it again? The same shady merchant who sold it to Frank in the first place. The Circle of Life, but with way more hooks. Hellraiser, ladies and gentlemen, you really can't argue. This is one of the top horror films of all time. Now sure, when most people think of Hellraiser, they go straight to Pinhead and the Cenobites. But for me, the real monster here is Brother Frank. This guy cuts out his own brother, steals his skin. That's the ultimate evil move in my book. I've got a long history with this movie, okay? First time I saw it, I was in my late teens. I picked up a VHS copy for Ron's Point and Book back in the day. The second I hit play, I was sucked straight into Clive Barker's world of horror. And let me tell you people, You don't talk enough about Clive Barker, okay? Between his books and his films, he's easily in my top 5 horror directors of all time. Every time I go back to Hellraiser, it's like a brand new experience. The imagery, the music. And this year I finally got to meet the one and only Doug Bradley at Seattle's Crypticon. Super nice guy. Like I do with every celebrity that I meet, and it's not a lot. I make sure to tell them that I'm from Yakima, Washington. Call it civic pride, but it's my little way of repping our hometown. Of course, 10 times out of 10, they've never heard of it. The recent 4K box set, one of my absolute favorites. Watching Hellraiser in 4K is stunning. Last winter, we even drove out to the Tri-Cities to catch it on big screen. What a beautiful masterpiece from beginning to end. If you ever catch somebody on the street talking trash about Clive Barker's Hellraiser, I'm not saying you should punch them in the face. That's illegal, and I can't tell you to do that. But maybe strongly consider it. And just remember this, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever come across a puzzle box at your local vintage store, think twice before messing with it. Unless, of course, you want to meet Pinhead. And until then, I'll see you at the video store.
My baby's got a problem with him. My baby's got a problem with him. My baby's got a problem with him. He looks like devil, but he smells like sin. He looks like devil, but he smells like sin.